Well, we often rave about your offense. We know the numbers you've been putting up, and we talk about the defense a lot. But today, with those first 2 innings of work, you accounted for 3 of the first 6 outs with catching, runner, stealing. I mean, when you think about just that side, how much you've enhanced that side of your game, what is it like being a part of those moments supporting your starter?
Yeah, that was fun. Get three outs, help the team out that way, help Blake out. But yeah, I was able to get some good throws off, some good tags by Mookie and Miggy. So yeah, those were big.
All right. Well, speaking of Blake and the bullpen, how did you all navigate through their lineup having the shutout performance?
Yeah, he just executed pitches. When we needed a pitch, he executed it. Got some strikeouts, got some weak contact, and gave us 6 really good innings.
When you guys were seeing what Dylan Cease was having today, he didn't have his best stuff. How did you guys just show your patience with your approach?
Yeah, we really made him throw strikes. He walked the first 4 guys or whatever. Really good team at bats, just sticking to our approach, making him come into the zone and, kind of scaring him out of it.
Obviously, we know what the standings look like coming into this one. We know it's going to be a tight division race. But how did the starters, whether it was tonight, Clayton Kershaw yesterday, how have guys really just set the tone in this weekend?
Yeah, any game for the rest of the year is pretty big coming down the wire. But, yeah, 2 good wins to start the series. Go for the sweep tomorrow.
All right, well, congratulations on this win tonight.
Thank you.
Blake, when you just kind of look at this outing, you've been finding ways to be incredibly efficient. But with kind of today, not as much swing as missed, but still really positive results, 6 shutout innings. Kind of what was the key for you?
Yeah, early on, just kind of feeling out where I was at. They had some good hits, and then Will kind of just, held it down through 2 innings. He had 3 outs, and I had 3 outs, so we were competing. But no, that kind of set the tone. I was surprised at how aggressive they were being on the bases. They know me pretty well, so it was good to get a lot of tells early on what they were doing, what they were trying to do. And then just learning from it. The takes that they were having, what they were swinging at. There's just a lot that I was aware of that I was there for 3 years, so I know this team really well. But, there was a lot of stuff that I was learning just throughout the game. And then I kind of settled in once I understood what they were trying to do. And, yeah.
We obviously have 2 catchers who have shown just how talented they are defensively behind the plate. But can you describe just what it does for a pitcher to have someone like Will Smith who is there supporting you when guys get on and finding ways to get them out?
Yeah, no, it's big. For 2 of the guys that stole, I tried being a little quicker to the plate. One of them, I was shocked that he got him out because I was normal, longer. But no, it brings a lot of confidence knowing that they can shut the running game down no matter, how long I take to get to the plate. But
yeah. Why do you think they were so aggressive against you early? And is that something byproduct, like you mentioned, of them knowing you as well?
I think it's respect. Nobody knows me better than Ruben on what I can do pitching outside of Kyle Snyder. I think they're pretty neck and neck. So I think, that, Preller, Schill, they know me so well. So they understand, what the game's going to be. I think that's what I thought. Maybe it's different, but I think respect on both ends. Yeah.
Well, Michael, first, I know that Dave was kind of having a long conversation with you, and I know how much we've talked about just how he's been rooting for you and supporting you. Can you kind of take us behind the curtain into some of those conversations and how just the results have really played out since then?
Kind of a lot of long conversations. I think the gist of it is just, he wanted to see more out of me, which is fair. I expect more out of myself, and we talked through a lot of things, but that's kind of the main thing. And just to fight, for every inch, in those big situations, a lot of times, there'll be bases loaded situations that fall to that 7-hole, and playoff teams, great teams, for a long time.
Yeah, I know a lot of it's been just mechanical changes, but right now, is it more of just kind of confidence in those situations and kind of seeing when you're getting the results, seeing how things are building up on each other?
Yeah, I think it's just playing the game. It's getting out of the the mechanical stuff. At this point in the season, it's as we saw, it's about winning games and putting ourselves in a good position to go into October, and all the numbers, all the the rest of the stuff, it is what it is at this point. And we just got to go out there and we got to do everything we can to win the game.
David kind of saying before those conversations, he had seen you kind of pressing a little bit. How thin is that line between like pressing and like being in kind of compete mode out there?
Yeah, I mean that's the tricky thing. I mean it's not a lack of effort. Obviously, you want to come through for the team, especially the way the year's gone for me. In a lot of situations, just leaving some guys out there and. Kind of just having those conversations with him is it's nice to just get his perspective and to get some things off of my chest and just go out there and try to play free and just be the guy I am. I think it definitely helped and hopefully we can continue making those steps towards being that guy in that spot.
How surprising was it to see Cease's command as off as it was early, and did that change your approach going into that at bat, or kind of what were you looking for there?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you don't want to help him out in that situation. Obviously he fell behind 3-0 and came back into the zone and was, showed that he was going to throw strikes and he wasn't going to put me on. So. Being ready to hit 3-1 and then being ready to hit 3-2 was obviously a big thing there.
Yeah, I know this year, and often we talk a lot about Will Smith's offensive performance, and obviously what he can do behind the plate and the defensive side of the game. But what he was able to do, kind of get this game started, there's 3 outs, catching the runner, stealing. Just how does that just shift the momentum, especially for Blake Snell and his outing?
It was big. Obviously, we feel that Will's the best catcher in baseball, in totality. And tonight he showed it with his arm. And, essentially they played 24 outs. And so we look at that first inning and how the pitch count was creeping up there for Blake. But to get help by way of the caught stealings was huge. And it got Blake into rhythm. And, anytime you can get outs on the bases was big. And so that was big from Will. And then, Blake settled in nicely. And to see him get through 6 innings was certainly helpful. And I thought there was a lot of good. I thought, the fastball started getting better. I thought the changeup started getting better, the slider better. So it was just really helpful, going into this last one to have a good pen in line and then have, Glass taking the mound to follow the lead of these last 2 guys.
Going into this series, you talked about just how valuable the off day was and kind of guys being able to turn the page and kind of get back on track and how this could be a good series to do that. How have you seen, I guess there's one more game, but how have you seen just that play out already in complete baseball games? Do you feel like guys are kind of now treading back to where they're used to playing at such a high level?
I think so. That off day came at the right time, and I think that the Padres coming to town came at the right time as well. As far as kind of like I've talked about, kind of heightening the focus, and guys just came in fresh. You can just see there was a quiet intensity, focus, but it starts with starting pitching. I think that right now we all know that's a big strength of ours, and so when you get good starting performances and throw up a 0 in the first and catch a lead, then you can kind of play a little bit more free and easy.
How nice has it been to be on the other side of some of these games where this other team is doing some of the little things wrong and be able to capitalize on that?
It's certainly nice to be on the other side of things. Obviously the last month you can see from watching us play each night, there's things that we just don't do well to not help ourselves. And the last couple nights we've caught some breaks, whether it's a play out in center field or some walks. But for us to take advantage of them has been huge.
Surprised how aggressive they were on the bases early on in this play?
They know them, they've had them, so there must have been something that they were keying on or saw some type of competitive advantage. But, fortunately, Will made some great throws and, kept them at bay. But, I wasn't terribly surprised.
Your guys kind of adjust in that first inning. They started seeing Cease missing in the zone. And kind of what do you think about being able to build that kind of inning there with a guy who was struggling?
I thought it was great. I think, with a guy that has big stuff, it's hard to trust getting deep into a count, running a count, taking close pitches. But, clearly he was being a little bit too fine and getting behind hitters. And our guys were taking walks, which was big, and got the pitch count up and couldn't get them through 4. So, got to look at some other guys in the pen, and so that was good. But credit to the hitting guys and the players to just kind of, weather the stuff and kind of run counts.
We saw you tip your cap to Conforto on that 2-run, 2-out single, and then he had shared that you guys had a conversation. Could you share with us a little bit of what it is and got his confidence up tonight?
Yeah, no, I just kind of, reassured Michael, the expectation and kind of how I see he can be the better player, and just to be able to, get base hits and drive in runs and shorten his swing. And I don't know, the last couple nights I've seen just better at bat quality, and he's come up with a couple big hits for us. So I think for me, it was just the hat tip was just reassuring that I just really proud of the way he's still fighting. And when you're hitting in that part of the order, that's what we need. You got to have a short swing, and you got to be able to move the ball forward and drive runs in, because a lot of times, innings are going to be falling to you. And so, even the bat versus, that lefty to kind of shorten up and get a base hit the other way, we hadn't seen that in a while. And so, we need him to be a hitter and not a slugger. And, that's what, so I was really happy to see that.
Enriquez threw the fastest pitch on your staff today, 103.3. How nice of a weapon is that to have in your bullpen when he's healthy, to be able to come out there?
It's pretty special. It's a special talent. He's a young kid, but he's not scared, and he's definitely an uncomfortable at bat. And to be able to deploy him and start to build the trust in him, I think that's very comforting for all of us. And I put him in some big spots, and he's passed every test. So, it's been fun, and I didn't appreciate it was 103 miles an hour, but it's a special arm.
A big deal about you guys falling out of first place. It's nice to be able to jump right back in and get sole possession of the division.
It feels good. I just think for me, it's, obviously wins are great. We're going to sleep well tonight, be ready to win 3 tomorrow. But I'm just happy that we're playing better baseball. It just seems like we're playing clean baseball. We're minimizing the walks, taking walks, not making outs on the bases, converting outs when we need to. And, when you have the talent that we do, you just got to kind of play good baseball. And if you do that, then we're going to win more than we lose. But so I think for me, that's the main thing. And, we had a chance to win 3 against the Blue Jays a week ago, so we've got that same opportunity. We know Darvish, we know what he's going to do, and we got our guy going tomorrow, so this is a good time to, go for the jugular before we go to Denver.
You mentioned the need for length from your starting pitching. What does it mean to you to get 6 innings from your starters on back-to-back nights?
It's good. It's big. We got some guys in the pen coming back, but to not redline these pen guys right now, I think that, you look at our pen, there's going to be 6 or 7 guys that are available tomorrow. I feel good about all of them to prevent runs. So, and that starts with Clayton and what Blake did tonight.
Do you think Shohei did his job as a leadoff hitter?
Yeah. I think Shohei, clearly, Cease wasn't going to get beat by Shohei. And so to his credit, he was taking the walks, passed the baton to the guys behind him, allowed us to build some innings and not get too anxious. So, yes, Shohei's doing his job.
And then back-to-back games with a home run for Teoscar. Just how big of a development is that for this offense, especially with Muncy out?
It's big. You kind of had that sneaky suspicion that when the games start getting, the stakes start getting a little bit higher, Shohei really comes to play and loves these moments. And first time I got to see it was in New York last year against the Yankees, and obviously throughout the postseason. And so, he's been in a little funk here the last, call it 5 weeks. But I had a good feeling that, once those other guys showed up, he was going to perform, and that's what's happening.
Actually, I thought he did get it just too late. I mean, he's able to grab a clean third in the 4th, the point the pitch counts up. But yeah, it took him a while to get into his rhythm. That's for sure.
On the other hand, Blake Snell just being Blake Snell, basically.
I thought we did a nice job. That's a very disciplined club over there. They're disciplined with With Dylan, yeah, Blake did the ball well, but I thought our bats were good and disciplined early and, weren't giving in. And, he pitched well with the lead, so give him credit.
The play with Jackson, it's so unusual to see him make a misplay like that. Just a miscommunication with him and Fernando, trying to get to it later.
Yeah, listen, again, our defense has been outstanding. Those guys have been phenomenal. Our outfield's been as good as anybody in the league. And some days, balls fall.
What did you see the challenge for Dylan being early on?
Just consistency of finding where he wanted to throw it.
How concerning is it at this point in the season? Like, you've got some really good Dylan starts, but you're not kind of sure what Dylan you're going to get.
Dylan's been good since the All-Star break. He wasn't as sharp tonight. I'm not going to be overly concerned about it. Back of the baseball card proves a lot of positive things. So he'll be back out there sooner rather than later, and I'm be looking forward to it.
So basically, the quick ceilings, you're happy with the aggressiveness there?
Yeah, listen, that was an odd game. Not happy getting thrown out. We had a plan, and, they made some plays, and when you're down, it hurts a little bit more. But, it's not a game when you out-hit a team and lose 6-0.
How close were you guys to maybe challenging the Manny steal? It's the first inning. It's risky.
I don't know whether we couldn't get an angle. I just didn't get any feedback.